What is the mobility range? Like, can you do a full 360 with the cranes? Like, I'm assuming you can't keep going.
To an extent. I mean, you could do like 3 or maybe 4 revolutions.
Oh, interesting.
Some cranes have slip rings. A slip ring will allow you to, all the connections are made in a way where the thing will continuously go forever until you burn out the slip ring, the contacts. But it's not really beneficial. Somebody wants to add a thing last minute. You go, I have to drop another line down through the thing, through the donut hole of the crane. It's so much easier if you don't have the slip ring. So you can only do maybe like 3 or 4 revolutions before all your wires are tangled up and you have like, we got to go undo it now.
Unback, yeah.
But like I said, in New York, you're not even barely able to swing the arm. So it's like you're going front to back. Maybe you went back to front on the other side because you had to. It's like, I got 3 more of these. The day will be done before we have to do that.
Okay.
So, but doing a car commercial, if you're, doing like a move all the way around, you should pay attention.
Okay.
Same thing with the remote head panning.
But it won't stop itself. Like it will keep going until it fucks itself up. Like there's no safeguard in where it's
a
like
robot.
No, you.
Well, I mean, like when I'm driving a Condor, sometimes it'll just stop turning left, and it's because the person that dropped it off fucking already did a 360 or something like that.
Yeah, you can set. Some cranes have the ability to set limits, and you can like set a limit at like 1,000 degrees or whatever. Yeah. Just to keep spinning it. Ask my business partner,
right?
Because he's.
I guess most of the time you don't need to do that.
No,
so it's.
I don't know what his limits are set to. Don't hit the fucking car. Don't hit the ground. Yeah. That's. If I had to operate, which I don't, but if I had to operate, I'd go through it and I'd see if it's on. But like I'm sure it has some sort of. It knows exactly where it is. It's got all the sensors and gyros and blah blah blah. Blah. It's fancy. Fancy.
And it's a joystick. If you're gonna.
Yes. So the, Europeans will do, up, down, left, right. Americans, or, the whole Northeast basically doing, or North America is doing up, down, left, right on joysticks. And the camera also works the same way where there's 2 joysticks, but the left one is usually for like zoom and roll, and the right one is for pan and tilt. But then you could also use hand wheels if you're a camera operator and you like the hand wheels, which I don't necessarily suggest depending on certain things you're doing. But you have the wheels and joysticks, but the arm operator is on joysticks. It's a cool little carbon fiber looking desk with a bunch of buttons that you're not supposed to touch.
Just ejector seats.
Is there a benefit between, I guess, wheels, joysticks, or is it just operator preferences?
All right. If this room was shaking, would you rather have the thing affixed to your lap where you're all together and then you can operate like in a controlled manner, or would your elbows be suspended and you're like trying to move the wheels? When you're doing stuff where you're kind of dicing it up, if you're operating the wheels as a camera operator, because that's what you're asking, because you're a DP.
Yeah.
So if you're doing this and you're suspended and your body's going like this and you're trying to hold a shot, maybe you're not trying to move, and then they just moved. So there's unwanted movement. So then you start building in like, let's build a little damping or a little like a deadband into that control, and then you try and do like a really slow move and you go, it's not fucking moving. It's not. Why is it not moving? It's like, because you're bouncing other times, so we set it a certain way. They go, I don't like it, so we'll operate a fucking joystick.
Yeah.
And the reason is because you can plant your hands. When I operate, I'm tense after the day is over because I'm putting a lot of pressure down, so I have like total control. I don't want that thing moving at all. And so if I'm bumping, it's like, it's with me.
Well, I'm thinking about driving a Condor, because a lot of people, like, you see a lot of guys that are like, when they do it for the first time, you've got the joysticks, like that's how you're doing it. But if you bump it too hard, and then you get kicked back, and then you bump it even harder, and then you're like, oh fuck, like, and so it's like it all stacks on top of itself.
When you hit the speed, when you're accelerating and you don't see the speed bump, and then you hit it, and you're like,
yeah, exactly. You're like, there's a curb. Oh shit, I can't stop.
Well, you just let go.
Dude, it's like,
you don't want to let go though.
No, because if you let go, because now the thing you're holding on to is your support system.
Okay.
So it's like, if you let go, now you're just free floating.
See, that's the thing. If it's in your lap and you're one of my operators, my head tech / camera operator, Ryan Celestia, he's a gangster with the joystick. He goes, sometimes he's operating, and if he has a shot that he likes, he kind of like goes soft on the joystick, so he's not really holding it until he knows that he needs to start adding. This is a guy who operates live TV joystick like 3 days a week. He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
He goes, well, sometimes if I feel the bump coming, or if I call it out, like, hey, there's a big pothole or whatever, he'll just let go. It's like, because the shot will be better if it's just locked here and just not doing anything than him like, oh shit,
Trying to fight around it. Yeah.
I don't do that. I go death grip. Maybe it's my anxiety.
Fuck that bump.
Maybe it's my anxiety. Yeah. It's like I'll crack my teeth, but
It's the New Yorker. You're just like, I'm not gonna let this bump beat me.
That's true. He's from Florida. I'm from Long Island. Where it's a different vibe.
He's like, whatever, it's a bump. You're like, no, fuck that bump.
That's awesome.
But it's like it's an operator preference. You would say joystick.
Yeah, I would say like if you're doing really slow controlled stuff and you really want to isolate your axes, is like, okay, the wheels certainly have a place. One of our cam ops who's been like working with us a bunch from the beginning, Blake Steigerwald, he used to do when we were using like Movi XL, that setup, you could have the desk meaning the controller, the joystick, above the wheels. And he would do a thing where sometimes he'd be doing this, and then he would like turn it off and then switch to the joystick if we had to do fast turns.
Oh, interesting.
And instead of like constantly riding the variability of like the speeds and all that, he would just be like, no, I have this set for my beauty, and then if I need to just fucking get in there and whip it. Not all the systems you can do that. You don't have the space to do that sometimes in the car. Or sometimes people are like, they're wheels guys, they don't do the joystick. Or vice versa. You're a drone op who's coming over to do this. It's like, you've never touched the wheels before. It's like, I don't expect everybody to be able to do that. But I think that people underestimate the joystick and how intuitive it can be and how quickly you can adapt to it. I mean, I used to be a camera guy, but I don't do much remote camera operating on set because I'm driving the rigs. The few times I've had to do it, I crushed it because I just have enough experience now to put it into like, okay, well, maybe I'm not good technically with the joystick, but I will make up for that in anticipation and like listening to the car and like working with the other guys that are maybe more experienced than me, who's driving the car, running the arm. And that's been fucking great. Like I've done 2 or 3 legit jobs and crushed all of them, and I was like fucking surprised afterwards, like, oh shit, okay,
Death grip.
Yeah, but like that's, I know all the things, but I don't do them every day. And it's like, well, I was able to do them. I'm not special. I have more experience. Yeah, sure, seat time, but not operating the thing. You can do it. You can do it too. Like you're a fucking camera operator. Yeah. These are the tools that you've been given. You're gonna shake around in the car. Try the joystick. Try it out.
I think there's just like a bit of snobbery. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a joystick.
Sure.
I like the joystick.
Sure, but from what? From what? From drones? And like, where do you get your joysticking?
Drones and when the Ronin 2 came out, I just used the joystick.
Yeah, it comes with the joystick. So you're like,
Could it be
Like you
video
said-
games too?
And
Oh,
video,
but I feel like you're
games.
saying like the snobbery, like when a gearhead comes out and like a camera operator's like, I'm using a gearhead. There's like this kind of level of like,
Well, yeah, I think there's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some thought that like you can't really get the high precise like movement
that you
with
can't
the joystick.
isolate an axis is the thing.
Exactly.
Well, what if I just want to pan? It's like, I don't know, be better at the fucking job that you have, which is panning. And I'm sorry.
like-
I'm serious. I'm sorry, but I have controls for pan and tilt speeds. You go like, if you have 2 hands and you're like, I just need to pan, turn it down.
Yeah.
Turn it down to nothing, and then you can be sloppy and you'll still look like a boss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're doing with wheels, is you're ignoring the other wheel when you want to do so.
It's also just way easier in my brain to be like, if I'm going on a 45 axis, I just push the joystick.
Yes.
That way.
And-
Versus
Now I
like,
have to go in.
okay, now I gotta go a little bit this way and a little more this way.
I mean, but listen, there's some people that they've done so much Etch-a-Sketch when they were a kid. They're so good at it now.
oh yeah, that's
And
actually
it's-
that's wheel training right there.
Yeah.
But the thing is that's not what I'm not fighting that snobbery. I am fighting logic here. It's like, I know when we hit that bump that I'm staring at, you're going to fuck this up. So I'm telling you before we hit it, you should try something else. And then you go,
nah.
I'm a wheels guy. It's like, all right, bro.
Wheels guy.
Take it to your I mean, we've done chase scenes where the operator's on the wheels and it just looks like we have the shaker box on. It's just kind of like doing this. It's like, yeah, because when I hit the gas, it tilts up.
Yeah,
because his hand would do the same thing every time. It's like, okay, you hear the radio. 3, 2, 1. It's like, okay, so you know that on 1, we start to see the car and it goes sideways and I push in behind it and then we do-si-do and I'm on its left. And then when we go over that other thing, I'm going to cut to the other side. You know the body's doing this.
Yeah.
So fucking do something about it. But you can't operate the wheels with your elbows in your sides. You just can't do this, and this is not good. So you have to use the fucking joystick.
Yeah.
I mean, or get the best wireless you can get. I mean, we have wireless for them. Operate from a cart on the side where you're not moving. I'm totally fine with that if it technologically, if it works.
The range is,
If the range works, which I haven't really had to do much wireless like that, but like...
So say you're doing that operation, is there like a convoy of other people behind you like following this, or is it?
What are we
just,
talking about? Are we talking about point
So
to point?
you got your 6 dudes in the arm vehicle.
Usually it's 5. Six the person will get in the way of the arm operator. The arm operator needs to be able to turn his body to look. So I don't care that your client wants to sit in with it. Get the fuck out of the
Okay.
It's 5 including you.
5 dudes in the arm. Is there like another car? Say you're shooting from the front.
like a video van or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Usually I don't want them that close, but
No,
yeah,
but they're
if they-
sending video out of that
100%.
car all the time. Okay.
yeah, like 90 some odd % of the time, there's a need for that second vehicle.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
So there is like no real issue if that person.
That car's also hitting bumps too. Like it's like what I'm talking about is like maybe like if you're shooting stunts and you're going point to point. All right, he slides through this intersection. We stop at the end of the block. Okay, cool. Well, maybe you can be on a cart over here. You know,
Just be line of sight to wherever the camera
if it's
is.
possible, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my solution for like, I don't know how to use a joystick. I'm shooting this second unit sequence. We're gonna do some sliding, and bumping, and
yeah.
I'm gonna do the old bump and grind. It's like, okay, well, that's maybe the best way to do it. I mean, maybe we should try it because
Yeah.
I'm tired of having people get in there and I hit the brakes. It's like you lean forward, I hit accelerate, you go back. I turn to the right, you lean to the. It's like your body's moving. I
Yeah.
can't make you more. I can't strap you in harder. Like I can't. I'm sorry.
You could.
This is
you
if you have like a big camera audience, like this is where they will start to dislike me. But it's like I'm not saying that you shouldn't be proud that you spelled your name with the fucking wheels. I'm just saying that in the camera car, it might affect you negatively and you might not like your results. So maybe you can use this other thing.